Namaste, beautiful. Welcome to Yoga is the Answer. Today the question is, how can I learn to love unconditionally, to escape destiny, and to become a true yogi? And this lesson in Anahata chakra is the beginning of the answer. This week on Yoga is the Answer, we are talking all about our fourth chakra, our heart chakra, Anahata. So today I will tell you in words what we will put into practice with our yoga asana classes later in the week. On Wednesday, we will have a beginner Hatha yoga class, and on Saturday, we will have an advanced level multi-style yoga class. So, our heart chakra is, of course, associated with the heart, the physical heart, and the energetic meaning of heart. Yeah. So the actual placement of the chakra is, of course, in our spine, behind where our heart is. So the heart is the ketram, right? The part of the front of the body that is associated with the chakra. The colors. This is where we start to get some different opinions of what the colors of the chakras are. So some people see it as green, some people see it as red, and some people see it as blue, and maybe there are some people who see it as different colors. To me, it's mostly green, like a bright color of green, kind of like you can see outside, but brighter than that. That doesn't look that bright in the camera. It looks brighter to me. But sometimes I do see it as blue, and on rare occasions I do also see it as that kind of crimson red color. So whatever color you associate with it, that's your color. Go for it. Don't kind of try and stick to one color. So of course, when we talk about the heart chakra, then we talk a lot about love. But it is important to distinguish like this familial love or love between romantic partners, between friends, and the love that it means that we find, that we open to when we awaken our Anahata. So that love is unconditional. And it's not, I unconditionally love my friends. I unconditionally love everyone. And this is not common, right? So, a lot of the things that we must accomplish in order to awaken the Anahata chakra are very uncommon and very difficult because it requires a lot of conquering of the ego and of social norms. And so for that reason, people tend to spend a lot of time in the process of awakening Anahata. And then once it's awakened, sometimes we drop back to Manipura. I talked about in the Manipura lesson that Manipura becomes the new seat of Kundalini when awakened. So at least we don't drop all the way back down to Muladhara, but we can continue to kind of go back and forth between Manipura and Anahata before rising up to Vishuddhi and so on. Yeah. So it's said that right now in humanity, many people are kind of going through this phase of Anahata. But it's more that they are kind of in touch with the chakra than it's actually opened. Like I said, the opening is not an easy feat. To be in touch with it, yeah. You can see a lot of people that seem to be in touch with their heart chakra. But you don't see a lot of people who have cultivated this unconditional love for everything, everyone, right? And that is what we are looking to achieve. So, some of the ways that we can get there, of course, we can use our typical yoga practices, right? Our Hatha yoga practices, our Kundalini yoga practices with using our kriyas. We can use our breath or use our body. But we can also use bhakti, so we can use devotion. We can practice devotion to whomever we want to be devoted to. We can practice devotion to the divine, whatever that means to us, to a specific God, to the idea of it, to a guru. And with this practice of bhakti, when we are continuously practicing devotion, showing our devotion, then it teaches us how to be devoted unconditionally, which can then transition to unconditional love for everything. Like once we feel it toward the divine or toward the guru, then we begin to be able to expand that to all of humanity, all of existence. Yeah. And so then we can also practice karma yoga. So karma yoga is essentially doing good deeds. I didn't want to use the word good, but that's what it is, right? It's service to humanity, service to existence. Yeah. So again, as we are doing these acts of service, then we are maybe maybe we even want to do the acts of service towards someone or a group of people who we have some kind of negative feelings against. And maybe the act of doing this helps us to begin to cultivate that unconditional love for everyone and everything. Another feat that we must achieve, is that how you say it? Anyway, I'm like, is that correct? In order to open our Anahata is, as I said, the escaping of destiny. So, when we're at the levels of Muladhara, of Swadhisthana, then we are very much of the belief that there is fate and there is fate alone. Free will does not matter. We are just going about life not even considering that we might have free will. And then when we get to Manipura, we start seeing glimpses of it, right? I talked about this in the lesson, like Manipura is the phase, the chakra at which we are kind of seeing glimpses of the higher realms, of the higher levels of functioning, the higher levels of consciousness. And then when we get to Anahata, then we begin exercising that free will. And this can be a bit dangerous at first, because it means in part that our thoughts have quite a bit of power. And when we don't realize how much power our thoughts have, then we're not paying attention to our thoughts as much. And then it can cause chaos. In addition to causing beautiful things, it can also cause chaos. And then that can cause us to slip back into Manipura because we weren't going about using our free will in a conscious way. And so the animal that is associated with Anahata is the black antelope, which symbolizes alertness. So this alertness that we must have in order to constantly be aware of what we are thinking, so that we can make sure that we are not manifesting things that we don't want to manifest. So there's this story in yoga tradition that kind of exemplifies this, where there is a man, he's traveling and he's resting under a tree. This is how the story goes. And he doesn't have any food or water or anything. And he thinks, oh, it'd be really nice if I had some water. And so then water showed up. And then he thought, oh, it'd be really nice if I had some food. And then there was food. And then he's getting tired and he's like, oh, it'd be really nice if I had a bed to sleep in. And there was a bed. And then it's getting dark. And then he's like, oh man, I could get eaten by tigers. And he got eaten by tigers. So this is like, okay, that's what it means to have this power of thought, to have this ability to have wishes fulfilled. And so it is said in yogic tradition that within the Anahata, at the base there is this tree called the Kalpataru, the wish-fulfilling tree. And so when the tree grows and then kind of it starts fruiting, then that is the point at which our ability to have our wishes fulfilled takes place. Yeah. And so this is like our awakening of the Anahata. I talk so much with my hands when I make these videos, and I think I talk a lot with my hands in life too, which kind of brings me to the next point, that I want to make, which is that discernment is very important when one is going through this process of awakening Anahata. Discernment of with whom we are associating with. So when we are spending our time associating with people who have not escaped destiny and who are very much of the mind that is not a possibility, then it kind of keeps us right in that more low vibrational space. And we don't want to be there if what we want is to awaken our Anahata. So when we are still doing a lot of work on this area, then it's important to be associating ourselves with people who are in similar places in their journey through the chakras and through their Kundalini awakening, or maybe who have already gotten higher, so then we can kind of feed on their higher vibration a little bit. So people often ask me, why do I spend so much time alone? Well, that's pretty much the reason. Because, as I have mentioned, not many people in this world know what it feels like, what it's like to love unconditionally. And when you are somebody who loves unconditionally, to be around people who don't, it starts to really just not really make sense everyone wants you to be on a side. They want you to love one side and hate another side. And they don't understand why you don't. And you kind of start just not caring to explain why you don't. Because it doesn't really, it falls on deaf ears. Because you can only understand a level of consciousness or a level of chakra awakening from where you are. And so to try to tell someone, well, I'm not going to hate those people that you want me to hate because I have unconditional love, that doesn't make any sense to them. And so then you have to kind of just choose to, well, you have a few different options. You can just listen. That's normally the one that I choose. So whomever anyone is talking about loving or hating, or I just listen to them and kind of, nod my head. And I just don't say anything about, because there's no point. But it's not really a vibration that I want to spend very much time in or around because of the discernment. I personally don't think that there is even a possibility that I will get ever pulled back into that, because it's been quite a long time since I have felt this unconditional love. But nevertheless, I practice discernment. I don't know why I just told you that personal information. It feels a little bit the word that just came to my mind was vulnerable, but I don't really think that that is the right word. But I guess if it's the one that's coming to my mind, I think it feels it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, because however I'm going to explain how it feels, it's only going to be received at the level of consciousness by the person who is watching this. So my hope, of course, is that the people who are watching this are those who are aspirants, who are working to be opening their Anahata. And I know that this is YouTube, so there's a possibility that it's not. So I'm just going to go ahead and leave that there. I want to go back to the free will and the wish fulfillment. And to clarify that when we are using this ability to fulfill wishes, it is important that we are acknowledging reality. I think that there is very much a tendency to try to be going against what we can currently see as the reality. So the example that's given in the Kundalini Tantra book that I had to read for my Kundalini training is, if someone's child is sick, then we don't then think, oh, they're not sick. We think, oh, this person is sick, and it is very possible and plausible, and it's going to happen, that they will get well and healthy. And I have to be honest, I try this with, why am I telling you so much personal information? I try this with a very important person in my life who is ill not physically. And I haven't unlocked it yet, which makes me a little bit confused about my current stance with my Anahata, to be honest. Since I'm being so honest. So, yeah, theoretically, as yogic, as Tantra teaches me, I'm supposed to be able to think, oh, well, this person is quite sick and hospitalized and has all of these thoughts about me and about delusions, and they can get better. And I try it every day, but it's yet to work. So I don't know, maybe it takes a while. I don't know. Anyway, again, I guess I thought maybe that was important information to share. Maybe it's relatable. So when we are awakening Anahata, something that we are very much aware of, and something that can be helpful to be repeating, is the whole world is in me and I am in everyone. Right? So we are really experiencing that oneness, realizing that oneness on a deep level. And so throughout the awakening process, some things that can happen are, of course, we begin to feel this unconditional love. We can have some irregularities in our heartbeat, or maybe some pain in the chest, but instead of being accompanied by like not feeling good, it's accompanied by like feeling good and energetic, and maybe needing less sleep. So that's kind of a sign that we are moving in that direction of awakening our Anahata. We feel very emotionally balanced, and we're able to communicate quite well, both internally and externally. Maybe we start doing more art, or we experience clairvoyance, or we are able to use our love to conquer fear, not only in ourselves but in others. And so we are very powerful in this way. We have this ability to heal others, whether it's just through our energy, that we can use our energy to heal them. Maybe we can use our hands to heal them. I forgot to talk about the senses. So the sense that is associated with the Anahata chakra is touch. And so the organ of knowledge is the skin, and then the part of the body that is like physically, like the action part, is the hands. Yeah. So our hands can be quite powerful when we have an awakened Anahata. And yeah, so our sense of touch can be quite heightened. So we can be very sensitive to sensations. We can also be sensitive to other people's emotions. We learn to practice more non-attachment to material things, to kind of everything. We get quite optimistic about, again, everything, as our understanding of the duality and the non-duality are increasing, right? So we understand the importance of everything. The things that we deem as good, the things that we deem as bad, we know that they are all important. And we also know that there is a realm, a dimension that is beyond that, in which everything is one, that there is this non-duality as well. Let me see if there's anything I forgot to tell you. When we're going through the awakening process, we can sometimes hear some voices or sounds that are coming from other realms. Oh, I did forget some things. I forgot to tell you about the lotus flower. So the lotus flower associated with Anahata is 12 petals. And so this is also the color thing, right? So maybe it's 12 petals that are blue, maybe it's 12 petals that are green. So for me, it's kind of weird that the color generally is green. Like I can actually see out the window in front of me the green that I am talking about, but behind me it's like that's not right. I wish I could show you what's over there. I'm gonna wear it in the classes. But when I imagine the lotus flower, it's not green, it's blue. I don't know what that means. It's just my experience. And our element, I just forgot the word for element, is air, Vayu. And so then our mudra is Vayu mudra. So we are, our pointer finger is our air element, and our thumb, why am I forgetting basic words, is our fire element. So we're taking the thumb and placing it over the air. And so I like to think of it as like so when we are touching our pointer finger to the thumb, this is our Gyan mudra. This is like one that I tell you to use a lot for centering, because this is the one for knowledge. And so then we're placing our thumb over the air. So it's like, how do I even explain this? And so the element is air, Vayu. So our mudra is our Vayu mudra. So we take the pointer finger, which is the one that is associated with the Vayu, the air, and the thumb, which is associated with the Agni, the fire, and we push our thumb over the pointer finger. Okay? So it's different than Gyan mudra, which is the one that we use for knowledge. In this one, we are pressing the thumb over the pointer finger. And our mantra is Yam. So since I've been chanting for you, I will chant for you again. So we want to be feeling it in this area when we are chanting our Yam mantra. Okay? So. So if you've been watching the other ones, you see how it gets progressively higher. I like the way that the Yam feels much better than I like the way that the lower ones feel. But everything's important, right? So I was just making my tea before bed and I realized two things that I forgot to tell you. Well, we talked about air, Vayu being the element, but I didn't talk about which of the Vayus in the body is associated with Anahata. But if you have an understanding of what those Vayus are, then you probably we're able to deduct that it is prana. So prana is the air within our body that is moving from this area, from like our nose down to our belly. In the Manipura lesson, we talked about how when prana and apana meet, then that is when we are able to awaken our Manipura. So prana is what is moving through at the level of Anahata. The other thing, the granthi. So we talked about the psychic knots in the Muladhara lesson. We talked about the Muladhara knot being the Brahma granthi. And so now we have our Vishnu granthi, which is associated with this emotional attachment. And so up until this level of awakening our Anahata, then we are very much making decisions based on emotion rather than based on what is best for our spiritual quest. And so the way to unravel this knot, this granthi, at our Vishnu granthi, is to have our emotions and our feelings be more in line with our spiritual path. Okay, I'm going to continue getting ready for bed now. So when we are meditating on our Anahata, then we become very wise and noble in our actions. We are able to control our senses quite well. Our mind can be very concentrated. And it is also said that if we want, we can move our consciousness from our own body to any other body at our free will. So, I will leave you with that to think about, because I am pretty sure that's all I wanted to tell you. No, it's not. This is the first of the immortal planes, so Maha Loka. So I did kind of talk about that the lower chakras were like very much in this human plane, and then the Manipura were like kind of in that state of limbo, and now we are in this immortal plane. Also, because remember I said how we spend a lot of time here, and it is very difficult chakra to move past. Many people, it takes quite a long time. This will be the last week of the 4 weeks in a row that I am delving into the chakras. We're not going to go past Anahata yet. I don't know when we're going to do it, but it's not going to be next week. So I just wanted to say that. We are instead probably going to do more work around the Anahata, at least for the next week, because I know that this is going to be coming out. Oh, I'm actually going to put the advanced level class out on Friday, I think, because I just remembered that this is going to be out during the week that I will, before and then when I am at the Dreamstate Music Festival. And so, maybe I didn't talk about this. So like when we're getting to this kind of awakening of our Anahata, then we are very much connected to music and dancing and the arts and that kind of creative sciences. And so Dreamstate is going to start on Friday. So I want for this class to have already been out, in case anybody else is going to be attending the festival and wants to do the class, both of the classes, the beginner class and the advanced class. I meant the advanced class will be out on the Friday instead of the Saturday as I've been doing it. I want it to be out on Friday just because of that. So then next week we're going to do some classes that are kind of preparing us for it, and then moving us out of Thanksgiving for anyone in the US or anyone who wants to just kind of connect to that energy. So that will probably involve even more connecting to the heart chakra. And then I don't have any idea what's going to happen after that. So, all right, well, that's just a little glimpse into the future. Can you tell that I did my Anahata Kriya before I made this video? I'm like, I love everything. Okay. I do, and I love you, and I love you for being here. And if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please leave them in the comment section so I can address them. And I look forward to seeing you in the next class or lesson or wherever. Sending all the love once again. Namaste.